I think even now that we're a better basketball team than we were, even though we did go to the Final Four. So that says a lot, honestly.
Yeah.
But it's all about learning and learning from wins and losses. And I think we're doing pretty well at that right now.
Joining us now, she's the starting point guard for the number 3 ranked SEC championship winning Texas Longhorns, a Houston native out of Cypress Creek High School at Texas. She's a 4-time All Defensive Team honoree, 2023 Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, 2022 Big 12 Freshman of the Year, first freshman in Texas women's basketball history to earn All-American honors. And she's the school's all-time steals and assists record holder, records that stood for 40 plus years before she came along. The first and only player in D1 women's basketball history with at least 1,500 points, 900 assists, 600 rebounds, and 350 steals. She's a Wooden Award Final 15, Naismith Trophy Player of the Year late season team, Naismith Defensive Player of the Year late season team, and one of 5 finalists for Nancy Lieberman Point Guard of the Year. She's got a floor-to-ceiling shoe collection and a cat named Princess. It's Rori Harmon. Hi, Rori.
Hi. That was a lot.
Your bio's getting real long, girl.
I was sitting here like, oh, wow. I forgot about some of that stuff, but thank you.
You've done a lot. I want to talk about the South Carolina win the other day because you split your regular season meetings with that team, but the SEC title game was really never in doubt. Y'all got off to a great start and you never let up. So what was the game plan and how did you execute it?
Honestly, the game plan was just like any other game plan. I think that was the fact of that we executed it like to like perfection almost this time. And I think when it comes to playing them, it's not about like X's and O's because we kind of already know each other's X's and O's pretty well. I think it's just about like, especially in that series, we're all both in our third game. Like it's like who is not tired and who's like ready to win and ready to go. And I thought with the way we started, like against a South Carolina team, like that was incredible. And I mean, the game plan was to really just play hard, play together, and play for a championship, play for our first championship. And so that's what we did.
Yeah, of course you want to win your first SEC championship, but also a little bit of revenge, of course, for last year's loss to SC in the Final Four. Take me back to that game last year. How long did it take you to move past the sadness of being bounced to recognize what a great season you guys had?
Yeah, I mean, we did have a great season. It was really long. It was our first Final Four appearance, and yeah, unfortunately, we did come up short against South Carolina that year. But it's one of those things where it's like, okay, we lost. The season's over. It's almost like what's our next step? Like, what do we need to do next? And I think we were all able to like get over that and get over the hump pretty quickly, just to think about like our next steps and the next season. And so they're a tough team to beat, and I think we did learn a lot from last year's game in the Final Four. But when you think about it, it's like, okay, they have a completely different team. We have a completely different team. There's a lot of differences from last year to this year. And so I think even now that we're a better basketball team than we were, even though we did go to the Final Four. So that says a lot, honestly.
Yeah.
But it's all about learning and learning from wins and losses. And I think we're doing pretty well at that right now.
Yeah, I mean, you also knew you were going to be coming back with some great young talent that was still going to be around. So that allows you to start this year maybe feeling a little different, coming back together after a Final Four run. When you started this year, did it feel like from the beginning expectations were different for what you might accomplish?
Yeah, it was a little like one of those things where it starts off like, okay, we'll just see like how things flow. We got kind of a head start in Canada, just to see like what we'll look like as a team. But when you take like the new people that we got, like half our team was like new. It was just a lot to like try to figure out like where our chemistry will seem to like come together. And so I think when you look at like paper and like who we have on our team, like I thought we were going to be a better team before even like hitting the floor. It's hard to really be better than a Final Four appearance team, but I think that's what we were starting to figure out pretty early on in our season this year. So yeah.
What do you think Coach Vic Schaefer has emphasized this year as the difference between being a Final Four team and winning it all?
I think it's just like the discipline and leadership. I think that's like basically what we've heard all year, like being disciplined, having focus, and like leadership. I'm not. I think last year we had more people that were more experienced in his type of play. As far as like our leadership aspect, I think the top 3 people that has some experience and knowledge in this program is like me with the 5 years that I have, and then You got Sarah Graves, and then you have Maddie. Like, we all have 3 and up. Everybody else was just like 1 or 2 years in, and I think just this year, it's like we have all the pieces to win all these games, but like, how are we gonna stay disciplined enough to like get to that point, and how are we gonna make sure that we lean on like everyone stepping up and being a leadership or starring in their role, and I think that's what's gonna separate us this year.
You were coach's first recruit at Texas. He actually started recruiting you in ninth grade when he was at Mississippi State, but then he took the job at Texas and made you a Longhorn. What's your relationship like?
Basically that. I can't explain it any like further. I think people will get the grasp when I say like he recruited me at Texas for 1 week, pretty much, and I made the best relationship I did with any of the coaches that recruited me, and they were all really great. But it with him and Coach Lovato, like it just felt like right. But as soon as he went over and got the hire for the University of Texas, I almost thought it was perfect. I thought it was God given that I was meant to be there and play for him. And so we basically started this whole this the beginning of this great like winning elite program together. And I think that explains a lot of our relationship and how we've been able to build that over the past 5 years.
He said you're the best defender he's ever coached. Defense is effort, it's energy, it's just want to. And I wonder how important it is for you to be great on that side of the ball. And when you realize that just wanting it more and working harder can get you a lot on that side of the ball.
For him to say I'm the best defender he's ever coached is a really big deal to me. I mean, you take me a 5'6" point guard, like being the best defender you've ever had. That says a lot, and I take a lot of pride in when someone of his caliber says such like great high things about you. And so I just think it takes a lot of effort. Like obviously the fundamentals like do help. Like when you know the fundamentals of defense and you know the fundamentals of his defense, I think it does really help. But as far as just like me being as small as I am and just being a tough competitor, I think just being at the right place at the right time and just having so much experience with guarding like other teams' best players and other teams like point guards, like I've just gotten a lot of reps with doing so. And I think in practice, like I really worked really hard just to become a really good defender because I wanted to not only be like a great point guard and a great leader, but I wanted to be a good defender. And I played a lot of great defense in my like in high school as well. Like I think it just was. I'm not saying I perfected defense, but I think I was working to perfect it in my college days. And so
Yeah.
yeah, I think defense takes a lot of heart. Like I've looked back at some of the past years and how I played my defense. And I think even before knowing the knowledge of fundamentals, like I just think it takes a lot of heart and it takes just effort to play hard and do well.
You mentioned covering the best player on the other team. Madison Booker has talked about how you always want that assignment and you get mad if you don't get it. So what's so appealing to
Yeah.
you about that challenge? Why do you like so much shutting down the other team's biggest weapon?
I just think like defense truly like defines a game. Like how a team does defensively like defines how the game is going to go. And I think back to obviously our most recent game was the championship game of the SEC. Like we were everywhere. Like we were all locked in defensively together. And I think that like just flows so well with the game of basketball and it almost determines who's going to win. And yeah, I think over time like it was almost like a question like who should we put on this player? Who should we put on the best player? And I think when you shut out like a player who has so much impact on their team, I think that that says a lot and it goes a long way. And I like being that person that can do that. And as long as far as like my team, like we're great defenders, like but I truly like just love having that ability to be able to lock in on like my assignment for the game.
Yeah.
It's like anybody else's player. Like it may not be like to guard the best player, but like what do you need to do as a post player? You need to get these rebounds. That's your assignment. You need to get this. You need to do that. It's like everyone has an assignment, and I'm pretty sure everybody takes their assignment personally. But my assignment is to try to take out the team's most impactful player. So
Yeah, it's a big job. You did it great against SC. I think only 2 players on that team in double figures in that game, which is wild considering some of the outputs we've seen from that team this year. What's the time you remember getting cooked? Has it happened to the great Rori Harmon? Who cooked you?
As far as being, like, cooked and, like, I was, like, consistently scored on back to back, it might be I don't remember that, like, cooked is an interesting word to use.
Okay, maybe not fully cooked. Maybe just beat a couple times.
I think, like, Vanderbilt was, like, an instance, like, I wouldn't say, like, it was just, like, one-on-one basketball where I just, like, truly couldn't guard the ball to save my life, but, I think just them being able to utilize and, like, set a lot of screens on me, put me in situations where I can't, like, completely guard the ball by myself. I think that was the time, and that explains it, we lost.
Yeah.
Like, the assignment was not done, and I'm not saying I guarded Michaela Blake's the whole time, but, um, to me, like, that doesn't really matter. Like, I still had the assignment and, it didn't go the way we wanted to, but I think after that game, like, you kinda, like, wake back up again and, like, realize, okay, like, that's us not defending, like, cost us the game.
Yeah.
Like,
Something
us
to
me
learn
not
from for
defending.
sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not anything that's, like, heartbreaking, it's just, like, you just learn from it.
Yeah. You mentioned your size. You play so much bigger than 5'6". You drive in among the trees. You take charges from bigs that are like 50 pounds heavier than you are. You are
Yeah.
absolutely fearless. At what age did you think, like, I'm probably going to need to be pretty strong and probably pretty savvy if I want to make it in the college game if I don't get any bigger than this?
I figured out pretty early in my career, honestly. Like, I've always been smaller, and I used to play up higher. I used to play like a couple years older than me when I was younger as well. So a lot of the players were always just like bigger, and I just even training with my dad. Like with my dad, he knew like, okay, you may not like grow as tall, and it wasn't necessarily like a concern. Like it was just like one of the things where it's like, okay, like we have this. Let's how are we gonna work with it? And so being able to handle the ball was like one of the things. Like being able to be closer to the ground is obviously a benefit. And then,
Mhm.
but yeah, with the strength and the defensive like mindset, it's like um, you got to get in the gym. Like it's not just like basketball IQ. Like you got to get strong, and you got to be able to like be able to bang with other players who are pretty strong. And I consider myself pretty strong when it comes to the weight room. I've been
Yeah.
told for my past like two strength coaches. So I think a lot of people pay attention to like what happens on the court, but a lot of that stuff like is the behind the scenes that really make us who we are as players.
Yeah, I want to talk about the behind the scenes of your injury because December of 2022, you suffer ACL, MCL, meniscus tear, and shoot around the dreaded trifecta.
Yeah.
So many questions about, the comeback and what you would look like after that. Take us behind the scenes, what we didn't see. What was the toughest part for you about that recovery?
I think the toughest part obviously was just not playing the game of basketball. Like it wasn't even like the physical pain, like it's just like the mental like aspect of like so you're like questioning yourself like every day. Even though it's been like people have you can see in other people like they had the same injury, they came back stronger, bigger, better, faster, but like for some reason when it's just you and it's you that have been injured, you like think like it's not going to happen, like oh, I'm not going to be the same. Like it's just like the constant like battle, like you're out for the game for so long, it's like how am I going to come back and be. And so I think as athletes when you're injured like that, it's not like necessarily like the physical pain that's like the worst part. That might be the easiest part, honestly.
Mhm.
Because we're used to like going through some adversity in like our careers and doing things that aren't like that comfortable. But it was just like the mental part of like, am I gonna ever be able to run the same? Like, can I change directions the same?
Mhm.
And the behind the scenes for me were just it was honestly incredible. Like the support I had here, they're all gonna say it was all me, but the support that they gave me, the mental release, the relief that they gave me, just caused me to become stronger every day, and not stronger physically. I'm talking about stronger mentally. And so, I worked really hard in the off season. Like there was not a day that you're gonna catch me like slacking or anything. Like I was gonna always like work really hard to get back, and I do feel stronger, faster, and all the things. And it's been a little bit over 2 years since the injury, and so they say it takes like 2 years to really like kind of feel back to yourself. Which it seems like a really long time. 'Cause you're like, I got cleared at 10 months,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
um, a year and some months later, now I finally feel like myself, and
That's great.
that's like the sad part that it takes that long. But when you get to that point, it just feels amazing, and you look back on all the things that you went through, and you're just truly grateful.
While you were injured, you still had a huge role in the team. Madison Booker had to play point guard as a freshman, as a bigger player. Talk to me about coaching her up to take over your role and give her a grade as a point guard.
To give her a grade, I give her A plus. I think
Oh, nice.
when you are thrown into the fire, especially for the University of Texas, playing for Coach Schaefer as the point guard, you get extra kudo points because of how challenging it can be, and especially for someone like her, she's not like she's a point forward. Like
Yeah.
this is like not even her position. And I think she did really well to like manage so much of that. It's like it's a lot of pressure, and I think she turned that pressure into like a huge opportunity. And like I said, I just think in that moment I was not gonna let her be alone because it can get really difficult and the days can get really long and hard. But um they still had a championship to win. They still had a season to win, and so, I was constantly in her ear. I was constantly, like, trying to talk to her, and she came to me, and I think that's how our relationship truly, like, started and become because it was, like, a relationship built on trust and being there for each other, and, yeah, she did really well. Obviously, as everyone knows, she I think she learned a lot as a player, um, being thrown into that role, but I also learned a lot as a player that couldn't play in that moment, and I learned a
Yeah.
lot from her. So
Yeah, I mean, she added a whole bunch of skills that are only going to help you and the team and her later in her career as well. You two have been this incredible duo helping this Longhorn team become something very special. You're a fifth-year senior. You're about to embark on one last tourney ride. What's the predominant emotion right now? Nervous, excited? Are you sad it's almost over?
with the way that we played in our last game, I'm excited. Like I can't really get too tied up in like emotions of it being like the last ride because then you start making everything more than it needs to be. So I'm really just being like where my feet are at. And I'm truly just excited to see like what this team can do because I have a really good feeling like our chemistry is like coming together at a great moment right now. Like we're sharing the ball, we're just playing hard, we're fighting for each other, and um I just can't wait to see like what comes about of this. And I would say I know it's good to like be on a good high right now, but you can't like let the highs get too high. It's like
Mhm.
one of those things when it comes to like practice, it comes to these next games coming up. Like you got to lock back in. Like we're still fighting for more.
You sound like a fifth-year senior. Be where your feet are. Don't look ahead. I'm going to make you look ahead just slightly, but I'm going to make it very simple. I want a three-word scouting report on the two teams above you. So 3 words on UCLA.
Experience, tall.
Yeah.
I'm going with discipline,
Okay, good. What about UConn?
star power.
Mhm.
I'm like putting a dash in between
Yeah, we'll
those.
let you have that as one.
I'm going with pace, and I'm going with grit.
That's pretty good. Could
If I
also
had
go
more
with
time.
strong, and it would mean
Yeah.
2 things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was gonna say that, but I didn't wanna,
Yeah.
like, make too many jokes today. No, I'm just
Yeah, yeah,
kidding.
yeah. Well, we're really excited to see how y'all are in the tournament. I've also loved watching all of your NIL stuff. You're an NIL queen. You're such a natural
Thank
on
you.
camera. I'm wondering what your aspirations are off the court, even if you're still playing or when you're done playing.
Yeah. No, I wanna say thank you for that. It's, like, weird for us players to, like, become these, like, content creators. I still don't even consider myself a content creator. I'm just somebody who's, like, just doing their job and making the most out of it, but, um, as far as, like, off the court, I don't know, I think I find, like, an interest in, like, filming about my life,
Mhm.
and, like, what's to come of it. I think a lot of, like, the world has shifted to media and the social media part, and obviously, like, YouTube was a huge thing even when I was younger. That's, like, what we watched instead of, like, TikTok and Instagram. It was, like, YouTube, and I'm not saying I'm gonna do YouTube. I'm just saying, like, as far as, like, just, like, how people enjoy, like, watching, like, the flow of your life and like
Yeah.
what's going on, and you can learn a lot from it. And that's what I did growing up. I learned and I enjoyed watching people and like what they did in their daily life. I think that's pretty fun, and I think it's an interesting thing. Like it started off with my ACL injury, just like providing a platform for younger athletes, like mostly females who have been through the same thing. It's nice to like share your knowledge on it. And so
Mhm.
yeah, and I like fashion and shoes, like all that stuff. Like it's like that comes together, and it just like kind of makes me outside of like basketball. So
Yeah. I know a couple hoopers who went from hooping to being stylists and things like that.
I
So
don't necessarily know I'd be like a stylist. Like I think it's fun to, like, see that from a distance, like, if that comes about and, like, that happens, that would be very interesting to me, but I don't know, I like that's, like, the fun part, like, for me, like, I would wanna do, like, become, like, a general manager of, like, a sports team, like a
Okay.
basketball team, like, that's something that I found an interest in, like, the last, like, season, actually, like, the characteristics and, like, what you have to, like, be a part of that, and I think, like, I've learned so much by being a point guard here, like, that I feel like that would fit, like,
Yeah.
me.
I'm gonna take the Sue Bird route. Go from point guard to GM of Team USA, putting
That's kinda
together the
dope.
dream teams.
That's kinda
Uh,
fun.
well, we can't wait to see what you do next, and we certainly can't wait to watch you in the tournament. Thanks so much, Rory.
Thank you so much.